Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you're having a wonderful evening, day, night, afternoon, whatever time it is for you. Coming to you not live from the West Coast. I apologize in advance. I have no idea how I sound right now. Me and Dennis, on this beautiful night on the Double D Experience, are both recording from the West Coast. And if you've been a long-time listener of the Double D Experience, you know.
We hate
already.
This place.
Well, no, that's not true. That's not true at all, and I'll tell you all about that in a minute.
No, I don't either.
It's that we're both Jersey boys.
Mm-hmm. Not
born
very,
and bred.
Not
You
very
see that
often.
Logo spinning? That's probably not even spinning because I can't even have the proper footage edited because I'm on vacation right now and don't have access to the footage that's on my desktop computer at home. That logo is inspired by good old-fashioned Jersey diners. But me and Dennis are both on the West Coast right now. We're not going to beat around the bush. Dennis moved. He left me.
Mm-hmm. Things are just getting very suffocating. Just had to leave. It was a toxic work environment. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I will like give some credit where credit is due. I mean, a man didn't even get dental.
What do you
There's not
mean?
even a 401k plan with Double D Enterprises, bro. Like,
man didn't even get bare minimum health insurance. I need to pay to wipe my ass.
Listen, I want to apologize. So I'm also on the West Coast right now. I'm on vacation, recording from this extravagant place, and I'll tell you all about it in a minute, but I want to apologize in advance. I am using my old-ass Blue Yeti microphone.
That rattles.
On my MacBook to record right now, and as my gracious co-host just said, it rattles. Y'all could probably hear this in a more gratuitous way than I can right now, but I'm just going to give you a hit with the mariacas right now. You hear those fucking maracas?
We apologize, you earphone users.
What is inside this thing? What could it possibly be? It's got to be like a screw loose or something. Or am I shaking around an entire like society of people living in my old Blue Yeti microphone that's been buried in the recesses of my closet for years at this point, ever since I got my Rode NT1A?
I wanted to ask, like how long have you had that thing? Like, actually?
Since like 2013, man.
Gee.
This thing shouldn't even be functioning now.
Guys, that microphone is a middle schooler. Holy shit.
Oh my god. And the worst part of it all, I thought Dennis was using a Blue Yeti this entire time because he told me he wasn't going to take his setup with him. And then he jump scared me, like as we got on the call today, with his XLR microphone and pass-through filter. Because I literally told him, like, dude, you sound great right now. Like, what's going on? And he just pulls it up. Condom and everything on top of the microphone.
Still in hand, though. So, I'm a mic holding peasant and not a Chad mic arm user. Because the desk that I'm using, guys, right now to record this is not mine. And it is my cousin's very expensive rising desk, or I don't know if that's what they're called, like the elevating desk.
Yeah,
kind of like the one that you have, David.
Yeah,
and I am not gonna put some cheap ass fucking mic arm on this table.
Yeah, it's not. Those things can clamp and they can leave marks if you do it the wrong way. And I want to apologize because Dennis pointed out there might be a slight echo because I'm recording like on this
bookshelf.
This like bookshelf right now. It's like this fucking this cavernous desk that is like leaning all the way back out towards the wall. We're both West Coast boys right now. Dennis moved to Washington for the time being for reasons. But he already said the reasons. I was suffocating him and whatnot.
I'll go into it afterwards. I'll go into it after this.
I was going to say actual reasons to be disclosed later. And I'm on vacation on the West Coast, which I have never been to before in my life. I am in California, and I gotta tell you, I
fucks with it.
I gotta say, I fucks with it. I fucks with it a little bit, but we're feeling it in the vibes for sure. And I want you to know how much I'm feeling in those vibes by throwing up some of the photographs I'm at right now, because I gotta tell you all right now, to actually get to the next topic here, I'm on vacation on the West Coast right now. I've never been to California. I was visiting some family out here on vacation with my family. My mom wanted us all to be together. I could not break her heart by not going, even though I was starting a new job, as well as all sorts of stuff changing in my life, as well as Dennis's. We'll get into all that later. But I gotta say, California is amazing. And I'll talk about why California is amazing in a minute. But before I even do that, you got to take a look right now. This is just for Dennis right now. But this Airbnb that I'm staying in is bougie as hell. This is like bougier than like I even could have ever expected it to be. Even though my mom told me how much they were spending on it and everything. But my God, I'll throw these pictures up on... well, I don't even know if I can fucking throw the pictures up on screen right now. I actually really don't even know if I can, but if I can, here they are. I'll show you. I legitimately feel like I'm staying in Mr. Frog's house in Smiling Friends. That's legitimately how I feel right now, because this place might as well have a gym, a theater, and a beautiful animal sanctuary. But unfortunately, if I lose my job on the Double D experience, I'll lose it all. Hello. But no, like for real, this place is actually insane. Like there's a pool, like there's this giant pool with like a hot tub. There's a fucking pool table, like a ping pong table. There's a legitimate giant rose garden that looks like something out of fucking Game of Thrones. It expands. Like this property is like 2+ acres, and it expands. You can like walk through it with this fucking Alice in Wonderland gate and everything. It is like, and I'm recording as well, like in like this fucking like bookshelf ass room. I don't know if you could see. Do you see that like ship in the background?
Yeah.
Look at that. That's just in my room. And I'll put this photo on screen if I even can right now. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a closet. This is just a fucking closet.
Is it a walk-in?
Master bed. It's more than a walk-in. It is literally like bigger than a New York City apartment.
So you could fit a bed in there if you wanted to.
Yes. And it's the fucking closet. And the only thing I can think to myself the entire time I'm going through this is, who the fuck lives here?
Well, you guys.
For 3 days, yes. And for a solid like 4 fucking K plus.
Wait, so then your mom and dad dropped 4K to stay there?
They got money.
Well, I mean, I knew that, but like, you know, they really wanted to like go all out on this, huh?
They felt a little lavish. I ain't gonna lie to you. There was a piano in the room, all this fancy ass furniture. Dude, all memes aside. I'm not staying in Mr. Frog's house. Because I've seen Mr. Frog's house. It's way nicer than this one. Mm-hmm. Somehow. He has a beautiful animal sanctuary. I think I'm in Markiplier's house.
You just see like Mark like pop in one day. He's like, "Hey, folks, how you doing?"
Wow! I am the king of Five Nights at Freddy. No, dude, there's 4 ovens. But actually, now that I'm saying it out loud, I just remembered it's not Markiplier's house.
It's Notch's.
No, Mark has 5 ovens. I just realized that this isn't Markiplier's house.
Mark has done a house tour?
When he's gone on like talk shows and stuff like that, or like even has done interviews, or when he was on Impulsive, he was on the Logan Paul podcast once, and he was talking, they were asking him about his net worth. Like Logan Paul and stuff were asking him about his net worth, and Mark just did not give a straight answer. Because he didn't want to say it.
Which I guess, you know, can lead one to believe that it's probably like an astronomical amount of money.
He straight up told them, "You don't want to know how much money I make."
Because he probably makes more than them.
Because he's like, guys, like I'm not gonna lie to you, like it's more than like a guy like me should know what to do with or have. Frankly, that's when he went off and said, "I have 5 ovens." What kind of man needs
yeah,
5 ovens?
Actually, then I have a question for you. So let me put a scenario to you.
I mean, you've seen the photos I sent you, right? You saw them.
Mm-hmm. I saw them.
Yeah. You can vouch for how ridiculously bougie this place is.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, guys, he's not lying at all. This is meant to make us poor people feel like pieces of shit. So
I say as I like solo grip a fucking Yeti microphone in my hand with no shirt on.
Well, yeah, exactly. And he's white, guys, so it's even worse for him.
To answer your earlier question, Monterey. I'm in Monterey.
Monterey.
And this place is beautiful. It's right by the wharf, so it's right by the ocean.
So it's a resort kind of town? No, not resort town, but like it's beach town.
Feels like it might, yeah, pretty much. There's like you all the buildings have that like fancy, like sort of Breaking Badass like rooftop over them, like those little like cylindrical like brick looking things. Those sort of like Spanish style looking roofs that they have over places. It looks like it's like a sort of like a San Juan type of place, like a Mexican castle or something. Mm-hmm. And all the buildings look like that. We drove by a fucking McDonald's that looked like this
with those
bougie
tiles?
ass yes, with like those bougie ass tiles on top. Like it's some fucking like drug lords like
like a cartel's
McDonald's.
like a cartel's like front. Sorry.
Cabron, I need to see your balls. I wanted to do a better job at doing it justice, but you really just have to fill out the vibes when you come here. It's like I'm sleeping in a library. It's been this really immersive experience, and that's not even getting into like the rest of what the experience was for me, because the house is one thing, which has been amazing, like swimming in the pool, you know, the hot tub, all this kind of stuff, just the general vibes of the place has been immaculate. I'll talk about the other photos that I don't even think I sent you, which I will try to do right now, this is why I don't want to be gripping it like this.
Vice gripping it like his cock.
Because I'm like doing one hand going to Discord to like message Dennis the photos right now. And like I'm just like gripping this thick ass like fucking microphone in the other.
We apologize again, guys.
This is not optimal.
We apologize again for that this episode in particular is so fucking scuffed. We apologize.
I don't. It's a miracle it's happening at all, and y'all should be grateful.
Suck my dick.
Suck my dick. I'll be able to downsize it to mono, but here's just one view of the California one, Dennis, that I'm sending you over to the Discord. I don't know if y'all have ever seen the California one highway or like photos of it. You've probably even seen stock photos of it, of the Julia Pfeffer Falls and like windows and whatnot. You're at such a high elevation to the point where like you're driving above the clouds, above the Pacific Ocean, right on the very, 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 very most western side of this great nation of ours. And it's a trip.
It's a trip for sure.
It's a trip for sure. It's like these photos that that I don't even know if I'm putting on screen right now. They do not do it justice under any circumstances. Like Dennis, I'm showing him these photos right now, but and he'll probably say they look fantastic, but honest to God, it does not match the aura being there.
You have to be there to actually like kind of really get the full grasp of like, I don't want to say the vibes, but it's just like kind of just seeing that that view, the cliffs, the beach underneath. Like it's just something that like I feel, even especially if any of you guys are car enthusiasts, like it's a great spot to go and drive at. And it's honestly, I think has been considered one of the top 10, I think, best roads scenic wise to drive on in the world.
It's gotta be.
Yeah, there's a couple of other roads, especially near the Alps in Italy, which is one place that I would love to drive in. Route
66 probably is another one. Yeah, it's the air. You know, we're not even used to it because we live in Jersey, which, you know, because of things like climate change have been like, you know, certain months out of the year have become a borderline like subtropical climate with how Here's the thing, Dennis. It's not the temperature. That's not even the problem. Back in Jersey, back home where me and Dennis spiritually live.
There's a heat bowl. Well, there was a heat bowl.
Not even a heat bowl. It's just the problem isn't even the temperature. It gets so fucking humid there during the summer. That's the problem, to the point where like the air quality will feel shittier. You go to California, and there's certain parts of it where like you live in Monterey. It's like a microclimate. Like the temperature is just literally perfect. Like at all times, it feels like fall at night, but then like the temperature's perfect, and then the breeze brings it back down to a normal level. And above all else, you know, you want to talk about like just looks. It's not just that. Like you want to talk about vibes, like you were saying before. Part of those vibes is just like that general ambiance and atmosphere of where you're at. It's the senses. The air is so crisp. It's so clean here. It's like this is just what air is just like supposed to be. Like everywhere. This is literally just what air is supposed to fucking be. So when you go there and like you can just breathe it all in, it just feels amazing. It's so refreshing to the body, the mind, and the spirit. And I even pictured myself talking about this before we started recording, because I knew in the back of my mind just the words I was saying. I was just going to talk myself in circles because it's not going to do it justice, but like it really doesn't. It's just this beautiful highway, like that. Just like you can see the ocean just going out forever. The air feels amazing. There's not even any service, and most of the spots when you get there. That's another crazy thing about it, right? Is that like there's just barely any service based on how far off in nature you are, and it just fucking goes on forever. We saw the Julia Pfeffer Falls, which I'll put on screen right now if I can, which is a historic landmark in a national park that you can see right there. It's just where the beach and like the falls meet with the rocks and whatnot. And the craziest thing about all of this would honestly be the people. It feels so isolated, but there's so many people that you see when like you go to these things, yet it still somehow feels so serene. And I'm bringing that up because the cool thing about this highway, beyond the fact that it just goes on forever and you feel like you could drive on it forever in this beautiful, almost like sort of vaporwave, labyrinthine space, is that there's tiny pockets of like cell phone service, right? And that's where the humans are. When you drive... Why'd you have
ignore me.
Why'd you have to fuck me up like that, man? He just changed his name in Riverside to something really funny, and it's just like...
Why don't you read what my name is, David, for the audience?
Pussyfish. Technically homeless. The pussyfish come from these special jellyfish I saw at the Monterey Bay Aquarium.
They look like literal floating vaginas.
They really do.
It's like someone MS Paint cropped out like whatever the, you know, like the outline of a pussy is, and like just said, let's make a fish out of it, and you just slapped it into the ocean. It's like, there you go, pussyfish.
Anyway, it kind of reminded me of Piermont. Have you ever been to Piermont, Dennis?
I have not.
It's back home where we live in Jersey. It's not very far from us. It's in the little armpit buttfuck of New York. Where you, not the city, like of sort of like in between Long Island and the mainland. It's this beautiful hipster town where you just go there and you feel the vibes. You walk into that town and you see like the roads that you can walk on and also drive on at the same time. Like one of those sort of like intertwined like wharf kind of places, even though it's not necessarily that much of a tourist attraction or designed to be. You see all these like tiny stores that probably sell weed and all sorts of flowers and shit everywhere, and then above them like these tiny ass college dorms that you know some hipster fuck is paying out the ass to be able to live in around there. The kind of town you go into where you know they not only have communal bicycles that they all share with each other that you don't even have to pay any money in order to rent, but the kind of spot where you know that just about every third Saturday of every month in that particular spot right down by the water, they sit in a big old circle with each other, passing around acid and giving each other phenomenal acid blowjobs, the likes of which have never been seen before. Mark my fucking words into this Blue Yeti microphone.
That rattles.
It was a beautiful town where like just the communal vibes and just the general air was amazing. And that's in New York. The California one, the whole way up and down feels like that, because every now and again you'll drive on that road and there'll just be a tiny cafe right off the side of the road right there in the middle of the valley in between the trees. You go in there, you suddenly have a little bit of cell phone service that they have to set up. Otherwise, people will get like stranded on the highway if they're just run out of gas or their phone dies. All sorts of beautiful people. There was this one hiker girl I was talking to that was so fucking sexy. Like there's someone's dog just walking around. Like she called him the moral support captain, or called her the moral support captain, which is what the dog was. It was the owner of the cafe. And then there was this spot, which I was texting my ex-girlfriend about because it screamed her. I'll send this to you now as well. This is the Henry Miller Library. It is a teeny tiny library in this little weird sect right off of the California one, almost in the woods that you can get into, so seemingly isolated from society, but also not at the same time. And me and my family walked in there when they were setting up a wedding.
Oh, shit.
Take a look at these photos. People were getting married in this woodsy little atmosphere. And if I was by myself, if my family didn't want to rush, or like my extended family didn't want to rush,
you would have crashed the wedding.
I would have absolutely stayed there, and I would have watched it, and I would have taken every bit of like hipster culture that I could have inside, because this library, if I could even show you more photos, and I'm sending Dennis all these photos because I'm going to be trying to put them on screen as well. This library was just like such a little beacon of culture. You go in here and it's just like this fucking shack in like almost like the middle of the woods that just had all this cool artsy stuff on the wall, like these beautiful books everywhere, a guitar on the wall, like it just felt like so primal. Like we reached the point of like human technology where just you walk in here and it's just fuck politics, fuck religion, fuck all the things, fuck social media, especially all these things that divide us. This is a place where humans come together to just be. It's like I walked in there and we went back to a simpler time. And also just trippy hipster art as well. If you want to look at this one, if you're looking at that last photo that's on the screen right there, yes, that is in fact a bunch of computer wires coiled together to look like Jesus Christ on the cross made out of entirely 90s computer monitors. That is so something cool. I stumbled upon. It was pretty sick. Yeah. So shout outs to Lou and Austin. They were the ones getting married that day. I hope you guys love each other for many years to come.
I hope y'all fuck each other's brains out and make a beautiful child.
In the middle of the woods. And maybe have no crazy pagan ceremony or whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I wish you all the best.
Don't do like a fucking... Yeah, don't do a... What do you call it? Don't do a Midsommar. Don't be doing that shit.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah, don't do a Midsommar, because...
don't do a Midsommar, okay?
Midsommar's bad.
That's it. See ya.
That's it. What do you think Charlie sounds like Mr. Mackey?
Honestly, maybe just a little bit.
Yeah, just a tad, right?
Now that I did that voice, it kind of he kind of does sound pretty close to him, not gonna lie.
Anyway, that's about it. See ya. Okay. So yeah, and we're not even done yet. I also went to the Monterey Bay Aquarium, saw all the fish, but like, I'm not even going to get into that too much, because like, besides the pussyfish, just the California one, was just easily my favorite part of the trip so far. It's something that you just have to experience, just driving on an open highway like that in the most beautiful midst of nature. It's just,
quick question.
The words that I'm saying can't describe it. You just have to do it. Go on, what's up?
Did you get to drive at all? Or did your dad do the driving?
No, I was with my sister and my cousin.
Ooh.
Yeah, my parents and his parents were in a different car behind us. We had to take separate cars because there wasn't enough room for all of us.
So wait, so who drove?
My sister.
Boo.
Nah, I was fine with it. I was fine with that. I was big chilling. But yeah, just the salty spray of the sea.
You need to drive on that road.
I'll do it one day. But man, like I'm saying, my concluding thoughts on all this before I talk myself in too many circles is California.
Wait,
I get it now.
In general, you mean?
Well, maybe not in general. I'm sure there's some things wrong with it, but like Cali, I fucking get it. The women here are so hot. And part of the reason they are is because they're often in summer clothes because of the perfect climate that they have over here. So they're just wearing less clothes a good chunk of the time. And just people also are just feeling better. They're feeling good because like the environment's not shit. Makes you think we got to conserve that shit, huh? Makes you think environmental stuff ain't all bullshit. Maybe it's a little bit important. But what it's come to my attention...
We need to keep these women wearing summer dresses all the time. We have to.
Exactly. That's why we have to become an environmentalist, so women can wear more crop tops. And, but yeah, what I understand more than anything else is, like, I understand why the state is so fucking expensive right now and why they can get away with it. They're either trying to gatekeep it, or people really just want to live here that bad, and we can afford to, like, hike these prices up the way that they are.
Funny enough, too, because, funny you mentioned that, and, like, right now, you know how, like, New Jersey's become, like, a second New York for a lot of New Yorkers, like, currently living there. New York has basically become a Californian's new home. And there's there was like a bit of a study like a while back where there was a good chunk of Californians who were living out there, and they were starting to move now to New York for, I mean, a variety of reasons. Ooh, but
JonTron, a real trendsetter.
Also, one of them was that California is also just becoming just kind of like how New York is, just very, very expensive just to even simply live in. And, you know, I don't know why they picked New York, considering New York is also pretty expensive. Like, the 5 boroughs is no joke, like, trying to live in any of them. So, like, you know, like, if you got the dough, it's like, yeah, fine, fuck it. Like, yeah, go live where you want. But it's like the current, at least even market and economic situation for both of those states, and specifically like a lot of like their more popular cities to live in, like LA, let's say, and New York City, they're not getting any cheaper anytime soon. So if, you know, just there also seems to be very much an attitude where both of those cities and even the states itself like have a very we don't give a fuck about our people kind of attitude, and like it's kind of been pushing away a lot of long time people who've been living there for a while. So like it's kind of sad too, because like at least I've been to California like about 3 times in my life, probably I think more now at this point, probably more, like yeah, probably more than 3 I think at this point. And what I'm getting at too is that like I've been in that state, and like haven't been to Monterey, which TBH I kind of wish I would have gone as like my first town to go to in California rather than Irvine, Los Angeles, San Diego, and I've been to San Fran like once, but I barely remember it because I was on a trip with family, and yeah, everyone kind of knows like how kids be when they're on a trip with family. We like, I wouldn't say we hate it, but at the very least, it's like we don't really remember it fondly. If that makes sense. You just
go where they tell you to go.
Yeah, because we're being dragged around by like our parents, and it's just like, but I don't want to fucking, you know.
All you want to do is go home and play Mario RPG remastered on your Nintendo Switch, even though it's a handheld console and you could have taken with you on the flight. You fucking idiot. Yeah,
and I think I definitely understand why a lot of people who even I know have gone out there and decided to live there. I think it's definitely just one of those states where like if you are living there, and if you, let's say, lived there for a long time, like because your family like was staying there, consider yourself pretty lucky, in my opinion. I think as a place to grow up in, it just seems like such a great place to kind of live in, and like just
the culture,
like grow up. Yeah,
the culture is amazing. The art of this Henry Miller Museum was fantastic. Just the art on the walls. Like I bought some canvas prints from like this old woman who had been living there for some time. I felt like I was buying like a wise art from a wise sage and whatnot. It just feels like something that has become so luxurious for humans, but has now become a luxury. Something that other greedier humans can try to make into a commodity. So it's interesting to see you bring up like, you know, like people leaving that spot because it gets too expensive, because have bad humans just made that too expensive? Are there too many humans in the world now, and you can't, like, maybe it'll reduce, like, the, you know, special nature if, like, too many people are above it? It's like that progressive commercial where, like, you find, like, a nice, wonderful, secluded spot in the wilderness, and then all of a sudden somebody finds it and they want to start charging money for it. Then all of a sudden you have, like, that douchey TikTok influencer who comes in, like, walks in like, hey, everybody, I just found this, like, nice, secluded spot in the woods, just discovered it all by myself, and I'm just practicing my chakras, you know, manifesting abundance, healing natures and Mercury and all that stuff, and like, where you get, like, people like that to come in all of a sudden. It's like, too many people ruin that. I don't think that's what it's about. I think I'm overcomplicating it. I think it's more a matter of just like, hey, these states are great, and they're great for a reason, and there's a reason people want to live here, so we're going to jack up the prices to live here because we know we fucking can. And, yeah. The only reason I'm bringing all that up is because the stuff that I experienced there, like those vibes and that culture shock, it reminded me so much of my ex, which is why, you know, it would probably made me so happy, because I knew it would make her happy, and she would want to be here probably even longer than I would. So all I could really think of while I was there. I even got her some presents while I was out there, and it just made me think, like, the stuff that I experienced in California, this art, this culture, this beautiful environment, this clean climate, the clean, crisp air. This is stuff that shouldn't be a luxury. Everyone should have that.
At least once. At least
once. So that's kind of put some things into perspective for myself, where it makes me think, you know, stuff like clean air, I feel like everybody should be entitled to that, or everybody should experience that at the very least. Everybody should be able to experience this art, and it makes me more distasteful with, you know, certain decisions made by our great Supreme Court that we have in this country, as well as our great tech bros trying to make money and replacing creative things with, you know, AI. Maybe those jobs shouldn't have existed in the first place. Fucking OpenAI CEO said that. It made me a little bit more dissatisfied and made me doom scroll a little bit more. But at the same time, more optimistic and faithful for the future, knowing that, you know, as long as you just have a bunch of human beings who want to get together and make good things and know what's valuable in life, we can't really lose. It's like what Clarence said to George Bailey in the It's a Wonderful Life. It's like, you know, no man is a failure when he has friends. I don't know what I'm talking about at this point anymore, but
he just really liked California, guys. Okay, okay.
I'm just saying. I'm just trying to. I'm having a hard time articulating what made it feel so special for me. But I think I've made my point.
Yeah, and I'd even go and add to that too, where it's like, because currently I'm staying at Washington, living with my cousin.
He's gonna fix Nintendo, guys.
No, I'm not. There's no. I told David before. There's no fixing that company, and the only person who could potentially even fix that company is a Japanese person, and I am none of those things. So therefore, Nintendo's gonna stay fucked. Sorry, y'all. But well, I mean, I say stay fucked, but like, you know, we're getting a new Switch in like half a year time, or like we're getting an announcement. Yeah, we're getting an announcement for it. So, and we have plenty of good releases coming. So I mean, hey, like we still have like our locked in the chamber hate boner for Nintendo at all times whenever they do some stupid shit, or like not stupid shit, but I guess even like just really like just non-consumer friendly shit, if that makes sense. But you know, I'm getting ahead of myself.
But it's packed right next to our love boner.
Yeah, exactly.
Well.
Yeah,
we basically have two dicks. That's the new Double D experience. There's two dicks.
There's two wolves fighting, in ourselves, and sometimes one wins over the other. So sounds so stupid, but I guess what I'm getting at is that, like, you know, so right now, going back to what I was saying, I'm in Washington, not DC, as a lot of people who I told this to were led to believe. It's like, oh shit, bro, you going to Virginia? I'm like, no, the other Washington.
It's in Washington.
Yeah, the
like,
one
we're
that's
talking about the fucking
northwest
sea needle
tip of the fucking you know. the literal northwest tip of this continent.
You know what you could do since you're in
Alaska's
Washington.
there too.
Yeah, there's Alaska there too, but Alaska doesn't count. Alaska's so much farther than everything. It's basically its own country at this point.
It really is.
You can, you know what you can do now that you're in Washington. It's not fix Nintendo. I'm done with that. That bit's dead. We're done with that bit.
Okay.
What you could do is you could get on top of the sea needle.
Yeah.
I know it's the Space Needle. I'm calling it the Sea Needle because the SpongeBob version's funnier. And you could do that thing. What is that extreme sport that Sandy does, like with SpongeBob, where they're just whacking each other with like giant fucking ear Q-tips?
Oh.
All right, SpongeBob. This one's fun. We just whack each other with these ear Q-tips until one of us falls off. Ready? Sandy, are you sure this is safe? Go! Dude, he landed spine first on a fucking fire hydrant. He should have been fucking paralyzed.
I mean, to be fair, he should have been, honestly.
If he wasn't a sponge, if he had vertebrae.
You know what's so funny though? I've actually been to that to the Space Needle.
I was going to say, have you been there recently?
So I haven't been to Seattle itself because my cousin currently lives not in the city, but like a town or two like that's outside of it. I think Seattle from where she lives right now is like about a 20 to 30 minute drive down there. What their interstate's the I-5 or the 405, and that goes straight into like Seattle proper. And I've been in Seattle a couple times with her. One time was to go with her to take a ferry to a island she worked at in Seattle. It's called Bainbridge Island, and I actually did like
You're good.
Yeah. I did a lap around that island like about 4 times. It was a small speck in the middle of like the Seattle Bay, and because she works in architecture.
Okay.
And there was an architecture firm there, and I literally was there with her as she was working and just kind of like going around the town. And I gotta say though, if any of you guys even got relatives out here, or like if you ever want to go to another city that's just very quiet, very, even in the city, it's not like that city pace that like kind of me and David are used to, like in New York City. It's very chill, hella homeless, like hella homeless over there. Like it's actually kind of sad.
It's like, getting worse in so many cities.
There's like,
and it's now illegal
to be homeless.
Depending on the state.
Yeah. Like,
shout outs to our lovely Supreme Court.
It's kind of fucked up. Like, you know, it's also funny. Illegal. It's like being homeless is illegal. It's like, well, what the fuck? Am I supposed to just die then?
Oh, yeah. It is definitely very funny how it's legal to stage a coup, but not legal to be homeless.
Stage a coup and get away with it. Well,
yep.
I don't know. There's some guys there's plenty of guys actually who didn't get away with it. Anyways,
there's plenty who didn't. They're trying to pardon it. I was the one who brought it up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
To keep on your topic, I would love to visit Seattle. That just feels like such that same culture-y artistic vibe. I'm getting real hipster doofusy in this fucking episode, and I apologize, but I gotta tell you,
so
like,
late at night
I go to these kind of places, and I know for a fact if I went to a campfire late at night with like some of the people here, like I would fall in love with those women like instantly. I'd immediately see a kind of girl like the hikey type with like the tattoos around like the back of her legs and the ankles, who's just very sporty and spunky, like IRL Daisy, and I'd be like, yeah, you could definitely fucking step on me on one of these hikes on the Julia Pfeffer Falls. You could just step on my goddamn nuts, like right there, like my IRL Daisy. I love you. I'm sorry, I'm fetishizing a type of woman too much live on a show. Point is, I bought a game called Coffee Talk once. I'll throw this up on screen right now. It's an M-rated game on the Switch. No violence or anything like that. It's like a world where like humans and orcs and fantasy creatures all come together and whatnot, but like it's kind of like a dating sim.
Oh, I am looking at it right now.
You go to like a coffee house right now, and it's just a love letter to lo-fi. There's just lo-fi beats playing in the background, and you just like try to rizz up some people in a coffee shop. And I just bought it because I'm like, this game just looks like a fucking vibe, and it's very much themed off of Seattle. It's a very big coffee shop theme, and I love coffee shops. So I would love to experience that culture in Seattle just for a little bit. That's the only reason I'm bringing up that, because I'm going off of what you said. Like, Seattle seems like a really cool place to visit. So maybe
Hella
instead
chill.
of me like talking in circles about what the culture might be like, maybe I'll ask the guy who's actually living in Washington right now.
So outside of Seattle, if any of y'all do live out there, or if you have family who does live out there, you probably know not really much going on out here.
Yeah, there ain't
It's
shit,
nothing-
right?
Is nothing but woods. And every time like I'm like driving with my cousin or my or her husband, I'm like always imagining like a bear's just gonna walk right past our car. It's just that kind of vibe out here. Like, it's so like almost if you look out on certain parts nearby, like in those towns, thinking about like Redmond, Edmonds, and maybe even Linwood, you can see the mountains from certain views.
Ooh.
And it's pretty fucking beautiful to even just look at. It's definitely just one of those like kind of places where this is a place that a lot of people go to when they just want to be left the fuck alone. And I do not blame them at all for doing so. It's I mean, it's the town itself too that I'm currently staying at. It's you need a car, first off. There's everything's just so fucking far apart over here that, like, you know, maybe in Jersey you could kind of get away with like walking to your house to point A to point B. But over here, at least where I'm living at, it's well, at least currently, it's you need a car.
No shot, right?
Yeah, you need a car. There's buses that you can take to go from town to town or from like one spot or the other. But truthfully, you need a car. And the only times that I've seen people walk out on the street are the ones who literally got off the bus to go home. So like, kind of tells you, like, you know, it's not exactly I guess not commuter, but like, I guess walking friendly, if that makes sense.
That's surprising. It seems like the kind of place that would be.
It would, at first glance it does, because like there's a lot of parks here. There's just a lot of nature here. And if you love like those kind of pine tree like looking forests, you're gonna love this place. This is like where all you plaid wearing motherfuckers like would love to live at. And it's so David, it's like, it's if I were to describe it in like a very like, I guess just in a no nonsense sort of way, it's the sort of place you want to go to just not even just unwind, but at the same time, like the solitude in a way, like especially if you're living there, can be a sort of positive and a negative. Positive in the sense where it's like the nature here is actually unrivaled. I think unrivaled in the sense of like, it's no Monterey for sure, but at the very least, like, you know, just looking at these forests and like just kind of like, it puts like our fucking forests to shame. Like, let's be real.
You say like it's no Monterey, but Monterey has also got a wharf with like a bunch of like carny ass like tourist attraction-y type of places. You know, the kind of places you walk in there and there's a fucking Zoltar machine and stuff. And yeah, there's beautiful nature too, but that's not really all in Monterey. We drove like an hour or two up north around to where the Julia Pfeiffer Falls were, or like an hour north. I mean, it's all in the same general-ish area, but parts of it, the nature are amazing, and parts of it are a little more touristy. I imagine the nature in Washington
Mm-hmm.
might go a little more untouched if most of it is just like woodsy stuff. I don't want to necessarily say unexplored because obviously it is, but like, yeah, I'm only saying this because I disagree. I wouldn't say necessarily it's no Monterey as far as nature goes. Maybe the spectacle is better here in Monterey, or just like the sheer awe of like the falls and like just the general aura of the place as opposed to woods. Yeah, let's go with that. It's a different kind of nature.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So like if you're in California, obviously like everyone kind of knows why they're going to California. They want the sun. They want them views. They want the ocean. They want, just them real like eternal summer vibes over there, because it's just never snowing out there, except if you live up in North Carolina, NorCal. So like if you live down in like the more of those southern cities, yeah, obviously you're going to be getting them summer vibes down there 24/7, 365. But out here in Washington, and especially even like the cities and like towns that are outside of Seattle, it's very much the like kind of cloudy, very kind of grayish kind of weather. This is like what I call like cuddle, nap, and fuck weather. Like it's just that like every day, and it
like
like
the girl you met at the coffee shop. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's why I want to go to Seattle.
And there is
so I can get my coffee shop acoustic guitar queen.
And there is a lot of coffee out here. There's a lot of it. And there's a lot of local brand names that like they're just known for it out here. There's like thousands of them.
I was going to say, were you going to order coffee from like your local like fucking microbrew trading newspaper delivery service? Whatever,
David,
hipster shit.
No, David, I go to a Starbucks like a normie. Funny enough, so my
that a guy delivers to you on his fucking bike. So doesn't even like drive around a van or like even like does anything to deliver the packages. He's just literally a guy on his bike trudging up through the hills of Seattle through the rain.
Believe it or not, so my in-law,
hipster jackass.
My in-law actually has a clinic that he owns. You heard that rattling. But outside of his clinic, literally right outside, there is a drive-through Starbucks, like right next door. And I've gone there twice already just to get a drink.
You got it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like got it. But I don't know, like it's we haven't gone into Seattle proper. In like the week that I've been here. Maybe one day, one of these days we will. We kind of my cousin and plus my in-law, they really want to go camping and they want me to go with them. And I'm just kind of like, I've never been camping, but I hate the outdoors for one reason alone, and it's mosquitoes. But they told me like it ain't that bad out. It's like they're not that bad out here, or like at the very least they're not as like prevalent as they would be like let's say at Florida or wherever the fuck else like you could think of. Even Jersey has like a bit of a mosquito problem. But
I ain't the biggest camper myself, or someone who would necessarily be too into that on account of my back, and also account of the fact that like mosquitoes and bugs just are unnecessarily attracted to me. But if that IRL Daisy girl that I met at that cafe off of the California 1 beautiful highway is into camping, then I am into camping, my friend. If she into it, then I into it. So that is probably the situation it would take to get me to go camping. Jellyfish pussy. Throw it on screen again if I can. Tell me that does not look like a vagina. You can't.
No.
My mom said it before I did.
Yeah,
that shit looked like a pussy. It has nothing to do with being maidenless. Like some people in this call would have you believe.
So, if anything, I guess, like, I mean, we're not exactly coming up on time, but like, just a few more closing thoughts, because like, I won't disclose exactly why I'm out here, but I will say that it's not a permanent stay. And, it's kind of up in the air at the moment of when I'll be returning back to Jersey, but it will be around this time this year. So, you know, not that I imagine like, you know, all 12 of you like will miss the fact that I'm not in Jersey no more, but, you know, just know that I will be back. So, you know, just kind of sorting a few things out here and then I'll be back home. But it's been kind of humbling and at the same time very, I guess you would say, challenging in a way. Just being in a whole new environment. Like I've been here before. Like I've been here, you know, on vacation and for other reasons. Mostly, you know, of course, staying with my cousin. But like I've, you know, in this case, like it's the reason is completely different this time around. And for me, it's again, it's been pretty humbling, kind of being here and like because I'm here working. I'm here mostly for work, and it's this is probably, and this is like, and I'm pretty sure for a lot of you guys, like you've probably gone through way more difficult shit than this in your life, but definitely for me, like I think this is probably one of the most like definitely difficult things that I've ever done in my life, and I'm only 1 week in, and there was times again where I literally was just standing and all I wanted to do was just fucking cry. so like, you know, the homesickness is like definitely still kind of there. I think it'll probably be there for like a long time, like probably forever, honestly. Like maybe it'll probably diminish a bit, but like it'll always just kind of like be there in the back of my head. I miss my dog. Like I live in a home right now with 3 dogs, and like I'm like vicariously like looking at one of them and just saying like, you know, oh, you look like my dog. Like I imagine my dog's like him and shit. It's like gotten to that point now where like, you know, like I'm not saying that, oh, like right now, like I just want to like, you know, oh, like I want to just go home and stuff. Like I, you know, it's like those intrusive thoughts, like for sure. And but considering my circumstances, at least at this point in time, like I know for a fact like it's gonna be kind of a while until like I can say that it's time to go home. And again, this is just like one of those things where again, like it's just way out of my comfort zone, and I've never done anything like this before. So I mean, in the rare occasion right now that like any of you are in a I guess crossroads in your life where you have this, let's say, amazing opportunity to like move out of state and like go do something that you want to do, or like go do something that you need to do, but you're going to be leaving behind your home, your friends, and your family. Like I can't say that I would be an authority on someone that could be an advisor to like kind of, you know, I guess give you some suggestions on what to do if you're ever in that situation. But one thing I will say that like, and one thing that even someone here has actually told me prior, is that you'll be coming out of it, you know, stronger. And at the same time, like you'll be coming out of it with something that you may like, you didn't think you need, but it will be turned out to be something that you did need. So, you know, it's so I guess in my I'm not a financial advisor sort of way of saying, I would say go do it. And at the very least, if you did it and tried and failed, then and you come back home, best thing you could at least say to anybody is that, hey, at least I tried. So like so in that vein, like, you know, I'm in a new state again. In summary, I'm low-key kind of scared shitless being here. It's again definitely one of the more scariest things that I've done in my life, and it there's like still again a big part of me that like just really misses home, and like I miss my friends, my family, like this idiot that I'm doing the podcast with, or my dog. But at the very least, I wake up in the morning like a lot of times knowing that like, hey, like one day I will be going back. And I guess it even just sounds way more dramatic to some than it actually is, perhaps. But like, you know, it's again, it's what I'm feeling. And for the rare person that like, if you find yourself that you're in this sort of situation, again, I would suggest just go do it, and just do it. Roll with the punches. Rise and fall and succeed or fail. Fuck it. Like, either way, come back knowing that, hey, I went and did it and tried. And a lot of times it could be that you succeed or you fail, but regardless, it's like, hey, you had the balls to try. So I guess that's where I'll leave that, if that makes sense. But
just what you're experiencing right now is true bravery. Just because you're scared doesn't mean you're not strong. That's an important thing to remember. And I would be terrified to do something in your position too if I had to do that. Maybe in my later years of life I could feel a little more grounded and feel ready to do that, like you said you felt like you needed to do for yourself. But the fact is you're doing something that you said you felt like you needed to do for yourself that you very much did not want to do, and you're doing it anyway because you feel like it's for the betterment of yourself and for the betterment of your future. And as much as I miss the hell out of you, pretty much every day, like when it didn't hit me that when Dennis told me he was moving, and moving clear across the country, mind you, it didn't really hit me until a few days later, where I was just having a really bad day, and then I just thought about it, and my brain said, oh yeah, and your best friend is moving clear across the country. I just bawled my eyes out in my car, like really hard, like while I was driving, and it didn't really hit me until then. But me and Dennis have both been going through a lot of big changes in our life. Him way more so than me, for sure, easily. But it just I don't know, beyond just being able to do what you have to do, the fact is, Dennis, is that, like I said before, you're doing something that you don't want to do, that you feel like you have to, even though it's something that scares you. And that's true bravery, is, doing the things that you don't want to do, or doing the things that scare you, even though you know it's the right thing to do. So even if you have some bad days out there, which I know you probably will, even if in your darkest moments, and this is to anybody else going through similar situations as well in life, like Dennis said, I want you to remember that, because I want you to remember that just because you're scared doesn't mean you're not strong. I want you to remember that because I want you to be able to give yourself credit in the moments where you feel like credit is not even due to yourself, because it is. The fact that you took the initiative to even do something like this already in itself proves that. So, yeah, I guess that's it. I guess that's all I got. I'm proud of you, buddy. I really am. I miss you every day, but it's not like 90% of the time that I spoke to you was on this stupid ass show. So it's pretty much the same, except the shit behind you looks different from my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess that's part of the reason it didn't hit me as hard, really. But because I know things are going to still feel mostly the same on my end, but speak to my privilege, really. But yeah, I think you're amazing for doing what you're doing. And, I'm proud to call you my friend, and that you can open up to me like the way you did before we even started recording today. So I love you, Dennis.
Of course, bro. Love you too, man.
Yeah, and take in some culture while you're there. All right? Go to some coffee shops. So go look at the people who are fingering the little strings on the guitars and into coffee shops, and take some of that in. let it inspire you and remind you of that irrational faith that you have to have of that amazing place you're going to be in the future because of where you are right now. And that's what art is for. And I think at the end of the day, that's part of the reason I loved California so much, because it reminded me of that message that I got to tell my friend now. And that's what makes the world go round, isn't it?
True. It's true.
And if you want to share some art that will potentially inspire others yourself, check this out. Here's the plugs. You can go ahead and share this silly show. It's got the Double D Experience on Twitter at Double D Pod, and the Instagram at the Double D Experience 21. Wherever it is you like to listen, we're on Spotify. Leave us a 5-star review with a couple of clicks of your device on your mobile device. Listen on the device. Apple Podcasts on your Apple device, if that's what you use to listen, and as well as youtube.com/Nintoonist, which is where I know most of you listen. Leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscription. Tell us about a scary time in your life where you had to do something that you didn't want to do, but you felt like you had to. If you're comfortable enough sharing that. If not, no judgments. Don't worry about that. I had to do something a little uncomfortable this week. For instance, I'm using a shitty 10-year-old plus microphone.
That rattled like a fucking maraca.
I really want to end this episode with beyond that heartfelt message. I really want to, after that heartfelt message, I really want to end this episode with just opening up this bathroom door next to me and just pissing right next to it so like the microphone can hear me. But unfortunately, I pissed like before the episode started because I thought that'd be really funny if at some point in the episode I just be like, wait, I have to pee. And then we do a callback to like episode 8 or whatever it was. And I just piss in this toilet that's literally right next to me. Just go, oh, yeah.
Oh, my yes.
Oh, my yes. We love y'all. See you next week. I'll sound a little better. Don't worry. You did good, Blue Yeti. You did good. Hopefully.
Now it's time to huck you across the fucking lawn and hope a truck runs you over. No, don't drop. No. He's about to mic drop, guys.
I was about to drop them. I should have done it after the speeches you and I just gave. And that's the Double D Experience. We love y'all, and see you next week.
Bye.